Welcome! In this series of videos, we will cover the design and implementation of a project, from initial design through coding and development to testing, using the PowerBasic Windows compiler. Today we will continue our project to look at the use of software autoforms by running it under Linux Mint. This Forms Runner project was designed to allow forms to be designed and run without any coding. The form design is held in a CSV file stored within the configs folder. As you can see, each of the controls in the form is listed here, with details of their location in X and Y coordinates, and other criteria allowing the form to be functional. For example, we have buttons. As well as the X and Y coordinates, we have the width and the height of the control, and a unique identifier, allowing the control to be identified within the application. We have also included tooltips on specific controls, and defaults. Drop-down lists are supported. In the text, we have the reference for the text file containing the drop-down list, which we can see in here. And there is a drop-down list. Taking this approach allows the application to be amended without any coding whatsoever. We've covered this functionality in previous videos. We can run the application by running the form runner executable. When it runs, it gives you a list of configured forms. If we pick one of the forms on the list and click Run Form, it will display the form on screen. The form has a number of fields described in the CSV file we have just looked at. You can look at what has been already keyed in. For example, we have 3 entries already keyed, and we can edit any one of these. If we go back to the beginning of the list, we can see our first entry. And we can go in here and we can change a date. And hit OK, and that will be reflected in this CSV file. Also, you can configure within your form URLs. So now that we have an application which can be run without coding, can we run this under Linux? And here we are now running under Linux Mint. I have previously installed Wine on this version of Linux Mint. So here is our Forms Runner executable and the Forms folder. If we have a look in the Forms folder, we'll see it's exactly the same as it was on the Windows computer. So let's attempt to run Forms Runner. If we double click on it, and there is our Windows application coming up with the form selector. If we pick Leave Request as we did before and run the form, we can now see our blank form, form number 4. If we go back to the grid viewer, we can see the 3 existing forms already keyed. So if we close that down, go back to the very first form, and we'll attempt to edit the dates. And we can select the current year, and we will leave it as the 1st of July, and we will change this one to the current year as well. So there we have updated the dates, and if we hit OK, it should save this back to the CSV file. And the form is now saved. We can have a look at this in our viewer, and there is our updated dates showing at the top. We can come out of here and have a look at the raw CSV file. If we look inside our data folder, we can see there's our leave data CSV. If we attempt to open this up in the LibreOffice, and there at the top of the screen is our John Smith with dates for this year. So what we've proved is that we can run Windows applications on Linux. Using this particular application, we can create new forms without having to recompile the PowerBasic source code. So if we pick another form, we can run that quite happily. We can view the data, and we can go in and we can make edits to any of the records. And we'll change this test person to be a DB admin. We'll save that, and we can see that test person on our list is now a DB admin. And our grid can be adjusted quite happily. So all the functionality we would get in a Windows environment works just as well in a Wine environment on Linux Mint. So in summary, what we've achieved today is we have managed to use Wine to run a PowerBasic Windows application on Linux Mint. Admittedly, there's more functionality that could be built into Autoforms, but we'll leave that for a later video. That's it for today. Thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching today's video. Please feel free to click on the link in the description below to discover more videos.